2018, imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Finance Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately assess the proceedings in real time via technological means. Members of the public who would like to watch the meeting via Zoom can do so by clicking the link below. Members of the public who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may also do via telephone by dialing 1-646-558-8656 and entering meeting ID number 894-3168-5772. Then press hashtag again at the next voice prompt. Members of the public attending this meeting will not be allowed to make comments. In the event that despite our best efforts, we are not able to provide for real-time access, we will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. At this point in time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll do a roll call. Ms. Manganelli?
Present.
Mr. Dugas?
Present.
Ms. Galizzo?
Present.
Mr. Kincaid? Ms. Kincaid?
Present.
Okay. Mr. Levine?
Present.
Mr. Martinson? Absent. Mr. Nally?
Yeah.
Mr. Stokes?
Present.
And myself, John Doherty, present. At this point in time, we're going to start the voting of the Finance Committee recommendations to the town meeting on the warrant articles. In the past, what we've done is we've rotated, which I think I'd like to do again this year. Lee Martinson is present.
All kinds of technical difficulties. Apologies.
Okay. Article 1 is the election, so we'll pass over that. Article 2 is to hear reports of committees and act thereon. Mr. Hull, are there going to be any?
I'm sorry.
On the
reports, no, not any reports.
Okay. Article 3, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the purpose of paying unpaid bills of previous years or take any other action related thereto. Mr. Hull?
Yes. So as I indicated the other night, there are actually 3 invoices totaling $1,725.51. The first invoice is from Winchester Hospital Shields MRI, $528.40. The next one is Kevin Wexler, DC, $59.71. And the last one is McLean Hospital, $1,139.50. I'm sorry, $1,139.40. So the total is $1,725.51.
I'd entertain a motion for that amount.
Make a motion to approve Article 3 as presented.
Teresa, can you identify yourself, please?
I'm sorry, Teresa Manganelli.
Okay, thank you.
Michelle Kincaid, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, we'll do a roll call. Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
You got it.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Thank you. Passes. Bernie, would you like to take Article 4?
Sure. Let me throw my glasses on here. Article 4 to see if the town will vote to authorize the treasurer or collector with the approval of the selectmen to enter into an agreement under the provisions of Chapter 44, Section 53F of the Mass General Laws with one or more banks doing business in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts during the fiscal year 2022 for a term not to exceed 3 years, which will permit the town of Wilmington to maintain funds on deposit with such institutions in return for said institutions providing banking services or take any other action related thereto.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Motion to approve. Mary Ann Galezo.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Michelle Kincaid.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor? Roll call. Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Thank you. Passes. Teresa, would you like to take Article 5?
Sure. Article 5, to see how much money the town will appropriate for the expenses of the town and the salaries of several town officers and departments, and determine how the same shall be raised, whether by taxation, transfer from available funds, or otherwise, or take any other action related thereto.
And the amount?
This is for the budget.
Right. Mr. Chair, if I could, just because there was a slight modification that we're requesting, you'll recall the original recommended amount of the budget was $119,852,135. But as I indicated the other night, we did just within the last couple of weeks, the fire chief advised me that the supplier of the oxygen for the Scott air packs went out of business. So he had to scramble a bit to find a new supplier. And as a consequence, he was in need of another $7,500. So adding that to the total of the budget, in particular into his line item, the total budget would be $119,859,635. And Brian, is that number jive with what you have?
That number is what I have for the total budget. Should this number be exclusive of all the capital articles that are following this?
Yes.
It should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then
we'll take those one by one.
that's what I thought. Yes. The total budget, the total budget, including all of those, is the figure that Jeff just provided. The figure exclusive of the articles to follow, but including the 7,500 for fire,
7,500
brings it to 113,005,635.
Isn't it 119,859,635?
When that figure includes all the capital articles to follow. My question was exclusive of those. When you're not counting in every article that's going to follow after this, the total for the departments, et cetera, without the capital and warrant articles is 113,005,635.
Right. So my mistake, John. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. So in this case, because it's Article 5, you're only voting on the operating budget. I was including the capital items, so that's my bad.
Okay. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for the 113 million and change.
Teresa Manganelli, I'll make a motion to accept Article 5 as presented, exclusive of the capital
budget. Okay. Is there a second?
Bernie, second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galezo?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Myself, Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Thank you. And myself, yes. Next. Mary Ann, would you like to take Article 6?
Article 6, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate transfer from available funds or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the purchase of new and or replacement capital equipment, included but not limited to the following items, and further to authorize the sale trade-in, conveyancing, or other disposition of equipment being so replaced. Such funds to be spent by the town department, so indicated with the approval of the town manager and to the extent set forth in Chapter 592 of the Acts of 1950, the Board of Selectmen as follows. Police Department, purchase of 2 replacement police vehicles. Amount is $100,000. Fire Department, purchase of 1 reserve pumper, $150,000. Purchase of 1 heavy-duty wheeled excavator to be assigned to the Highway Department. Amount is $235,000. Purchase of 1 heavy-duty 1-ton dump body truck with plow to be assigned to the Highway Division. $85,000. Purchase of 1 sidewalk plow to be assigned to the Highway Division. $175,000. Purchase of 1 asphalt hot box trailer to be assigned to the Highway Division. $42,000. School Department, purchase of 1 replacement handicap accessible wheelchair minivan. $42,000. Or take any other action relative thereto.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, just before you do that, I just would ask whether you want to consider addressing the issue of funding. So as you may recall,
I was going to bring that up in the discussion section of it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion.
John Dugas, motion to approve as written.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
Michelle Kincaid, I second.
Discussion. The fire department, $150,000 was to come from free cash. The purchase of the heavy-duty wheeled excavator for public works, $235,000 was free cash. The purchase of sidewalk plow for the highway division, $175,000 was to come from free cash. All the rest was to come from the appropriated budget. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll do the roll call. Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Next, Michelle, would you like to take Article number 7?
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from other available funds or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of the money for 8 new voting machines or take any other action related to, and it was $35,000.
Isn't it 45,000 with a grant of 35? A 10?
Grant of 10,000.
10,000.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I didn't know that we had to vote the grant.
Is there a motion?
Bernie, so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Teresa Manganelli will second.
Discussion. All in favor? Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Next, Article 8. John, would you like to take that?
Of course. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the Information Technology Department to complete the replacement of a VoIP phone system at all municipal buildings, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. I have the cost at $70,000. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
I have 74.
Mr. Chair, it is 70,000.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to accept.
John, do you guess the motion to accept the article as written?
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mary Ann Galizzo, second.
Thank you. We'll do a roll call. Bernie Nally,
Yeah.
Mary Ann Galizzo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, it passes. Article 9. Kevin, would you like to do that one, please?
Absolutely. Bear with me. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the Information Technology Department to purchase replacement servers for the Town Hall and Public Safety Building, including any incidental or related costs, or take any action related thereto. I had 40,000, but then I crossed it out, so I actually don't trust my number here.
Looking at 35, correct, Jeff?
35, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. The amount of 35,000. Is there a motion?
Bernie.
Kevin Stokes, motion to accept.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Michelle Kincaid, second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, roll call. Bernie Nally?
Yep.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes, it passes. Article 10. Andy, would you like to take that one?
Sure. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the Information Technology Department to purchase 4 mobile computers, antennas, and appropriate mounting to be installed in police vehicles, cruisers, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto.
In the amount of 30,000?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
In the amount of 30,000?
30,000, yep. That's what I thought it was.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept. Mary Ann Galizzo.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Andy Levine, I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? No discussion? All in favor? Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andrew Levine?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Passes unanimously. Next, Lee, would you like to take Article 11?
Yes, I can do that. You guys hear me? All right. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the second phase of the upgrade of critical radio communication infrastructure and equipment in the Public Safety Dispatch Center and related and ancillary facilities to be utilized by dispatch, fire, and police, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. And I do not have the amount in front of me.
I believe it's 450,000.
Yeah.
I got a big one. That's good. 450K.
Is there a motion?
I'll make Teresa Manganelli. I make a motion to accept.
Thank you. Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Thank you. Discussion, and that is from free cash. Any other discussion? Ready for the vote? In favor, Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yep.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Passes unanimously. Next is Article 12. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to complete the replacement of the fire radio watch alarm receivers and fire station alerting system at the Public Safety Building, including any incidental or related costs, or taking any other action related thereto for $55,000. Is there a motion?
Bernie Nally, yes. So
Is there a
moved.
second? Is there a second?
Marcuson, I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor, Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizo?
Yes.
You muted. Thank you. John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson.
Yes.
Thank you. Bernie, would you like to take Article 13, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the design phase to replace approximately 24,000 square feet of roofing at the Shawshene School, or take any other action relating thereto. The sum is $85,000.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
To accept.
Is it second?
I'll second it, Mary Ann Galizo.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, let's take the vote in favor. Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
That'd be a yes.
and myself, yes, passes. Article 14. Teresa, would you like to take that one?
Yes. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the replacement of ceiling tile at the Woburn Street School, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. The cost is $527,000 from free cash, and I make a motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second, Michelle Kincaid.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the vote in favor. Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Article 15. Mary Ann, would you like to take that one, please?
For Article 15, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the payment of the remaining amortization loan on the trash and recycling barrels, or take any other action related thereto. I have an amount of $365,000.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just to note that that is proposed from free cash.
Right. I was going to bring that up in discussion, but
I'm
thank
sorry.
you. Okay, no problem. Is there a motion?
Teresa Manganelli, I'll make a motion to accept.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Andy
John
Levine,
Dugas.
second.
Thank you. As Mr. Hull pointed out, this is from free cash and discussion. Any other discussion on it? Seeing none, we'll do the vote in favor. Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine.
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes unanimously. Article 16. Michelle, would you like to take that, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to raise an appropriate transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to purchase robotic total station survey equipment to replace total station survey equipment for the engineering division, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. And I think that was $25,500.
That is correct. I'll entertain a motion.
John Dugas, motion to accept the article as written.
Is there a second?
Bernie, second.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the vote for approval. Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Article 17. John, would you like to take that one, please?
Article 17, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to fund the traffic engineering design of intersection signal improvement at the intersection of Shawshene Avenue, Hopkins Street, and Lake Street, or take any other action related thereto. I've got a cost of $25,000.
Is there a motion?
Motion to accept Teresa Manganelli.
Second, Marianne Galizzo.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. I have lost my screen for some reason.
John, do you have a small screen in the upper right hand corner of your?
No, I don't. I have, it looks like an ad, a leader in the 2020 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Meeting Solutions.
You've been hacked.
No, it says post attendee Zoom. What I'm going to do is log out and log back in.
Okay.
Here we are. Ready for the vote?
Quick.
It was.
Very quick.
Are we all in favor? Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Article 18. Kevin, would you like to take that one, please?
Yes, sure. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the installation of traffic signal detection at the intersection of Salem Street, Route 62, and Woburn Street, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. I don't have an amount for this.
I believe it's 20,000.
20, yeah.
20,000.
20,000, okay.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to accept, Kevin Stokes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, ready for the vote for approval. Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo.
Yes.
Thank you. John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Lee Martinson, Lee,
Yes. Sorry,
Thank
I
you.
cut out.
and myself, John Doherty, yes.
Tough technology night for me. Sorry.
Article 19. Andy, would you like to take that one, please?
Sure. Article 19, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the reconstruction of tennis/basketball courts at Shawshene School, including engineering, design, and incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. I do not have a dollar amount.
I believe it's 350,000.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Oh, Andy Levine, motion to approve as read.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Teresa
Lee Martin.
Manganelli.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, vote for approval. Bernie Nally,
Yep.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes.
Yes.
Passes. Article 20. Lee, would you, Andy, would you like to take that one, Lee?
Certainly can. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute sum of money for the design and engineering costs to replace the Frank Kelly track surface at Alumni Stadium or take any other action related thereto. And I'm short on the amount as well.
I believe it's 40,000.
Yep.
40K.
Right. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Marianne.
John Dugas.
Mary Ann Gillespie, sorry.
Thank you. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Bernie Nelly,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine.
Yes.
Passes. Next is Article number 21. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to fund the phased cemetery development, including monument footings, improvements to turf and fencing, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto for $15,000. I'll entertain a motion.
John Dugas, motion to approve as read.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Andy Levine, I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, we'll vote to approve. Bernie Nelly,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Lee Martinson.
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 22. Bernie, would you like to take that one, please?
To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to comply with the municipal separate storm sewer systems requirement as part of the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, including design and engineering costs and any other incidental and related costs and expenses, or take any other action related thereto, costing $50,000. And I will move that we pass this article.
Is there a second?
Second, Teresa Manganelli.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, Bernie Nelly?
Yep.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Next is Article 23. And John, would you like to take that?
Yep. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from department receipts or user fees a sum of money to operate the Department of Public Works Sewer Division enterprise or take any other action related thereto. And I do not have the dollar for that one, sorry.
Jeff, is it $3,523,564?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
John Dugas, motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there
Mary
a
Ann
second?
Gillespie, second.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll vote to approve. Bernie Nelly,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Article number 24. Kevin, would you like to take that one, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available department receipts or user fees, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to relocate underground control panel at Main Street, Route 38, sewer pump station, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. I do not have an amount on that.
I believe it's 40,000.
40,000?
Yep.
And that's the sewer account, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Kevin Stokes, motion to accept?
Is there a second?
Second, Mary Ann Gillespie.
Thank you. Vote in favor. Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo,
Yes.
Bernie Nally,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Article number 25. Lee, Andy, would you like to take that one, please?
Sure. Article 25, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available department receipts or user fees or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to replace the pump at Shawsheen Commons Pump Station, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. I do not have the number.
I believe it's 25,000.
25,000.
I'll entertain a motion.
John Dugas, motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Andy Levine, I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor, Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo,
Yes.
Bernie Nally,
Yes.
myself, yes, and it passes. Article 26. Lee, could you take that one, please?
Yep, I'll read it right now. To see if the town will vote to appropriate the sum of $7,929.70 or such other amount as town meeting may approve for the Transportation Infrastructure Receipts Reserve Account for the purpose of roadway surface crack sealing, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto.
Thank you. And this is from the state Lyft and Uber. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move the
Get
question.
a motion to approve.
Okay. Second, Bernie.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor, Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo,
Yes.
Bernie Nally,
Yes.
and myself, yes, as well. Okay. Next, and my passes. Next, Article 27. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate transfer from available funds or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the replacement of existing switches at the middle school, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related to for $90,000, and this is part of a 5-year plan. I'll entertain a motion.
The Manganelli, motion to accept.
Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Discussion. Seeing no vote. Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo,
Yes.
Bernie Nally,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Next is Article number 28. Bernie, would you like to take that one, please?
Yeah. Article 28, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the replacement of existing PCs in the Wilmington High School labs, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto at a cost of $68,000. And I'll make a motion to approve that this article.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, Mary Ann Galizzo.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor, Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo,
Yes.
Bernie Nally,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Next, Teresa, can you take Article number 29?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the replacement and/or upgrade of security servers for the Wilmington Public Schools, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto. The cost is $30,000, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Mary Galezzo.
Discussion. Seeing none, motion to approve. Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Marion Galizzo?
Yes.
Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 30. It's me, I guess. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer of available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the purchase of replacement projectors for the elementary schools, including any incidental or related costs, or take any other action related thereto for $100,000. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
So moved. Mary Galezzo.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Kevin Stokes.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor?
Is this one really only for 100,000? I had 200 written down.
Mr. Chair,
I had 100.
Mr. Chair, I was just going to note that the school's intention is to seek 100,000 this year and 100,000 next year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys. Derailing it.
No problem, John. Are we ready for the vote? All in favor? Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Marion Galizzo?
Yes.
Thank you, John Dugas.
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article 31. Bernie, would you like to take that one, please?
Sure. Article 31, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire by gift, purchase, eminent domain, or otherwise a portion of the property or interest therein, including but not limited to a leasehold interest located at 201 Lowell Street, specifically land north of Maple Meadow Brook, bordered by Lowell Street to the east and the Untitled Farm Recreation Facility to the west, and 71 Lowell Street to the north, consisting of approximately 8.9 acres of land, including tennis courts and ball fields for general, municipal, and recreational purposes, including possible extension of the Untitled Farm Recreation Facility, as determined by the Board of Selectmen, to be in the best interest of the town, and further, to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the acquisition of such property and structures thereon or interest therein, including all costs incidental and related thereto, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen to take such action and execute such documents and agreements as are necessary to effectuate the purposes of this article or take any other action related thereto. I do not have a number there.
Mr. Hull?
I'll move to pass the article.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll do a second.
Okay. Discussion. Mr. Hull?
I do have one question, John. Mary Galezzo. Jeff, do you plan on having the appraisal back for this property prior to town meeting?
Yes, I do. So the appraisal is in the process. I'm expecting it within the next couple of weeks. I can tell you that prior to having the appraisal done, I spoke with Karen Rashis to get her sense of what the value of this property might be. Clearly, appraisers and assessors approach value from a different perspective. In her comment, she actually consulted with some of her colleagues. One of the challenges here are that there are some factors that will influence the price, one being Maple Meadow Brook and how much of the property is buildable, because there's, as you know, the Riverfront Protection Act limits the amount of buildable property. And there's also an easement for a gas line that runs essentially under the middle of that property. But the rough numbers that she provided me with, this is again ballpark, is somewhere in the neighborhood of 800,000 to 2 million, which is obviously a pretty broad range. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess if the committee was to consider a number, you know, I'd rather err on the side of the higher. You know, clearly we're not gonna, we're only gonna pay the amount that we believe is an appropriate number after we receive the assessment, the appraisal rather.
I agree, but I do think that we need to put a dollar cap on this article. Whether at town meeting, we can amend it on the floor, correct, John?
Yeah, can we do it up to the appraised value and leave that number until the appraisal comes in?
Well, so certainly, if you wanted to use, you know, the number again, this is on the high side, is 2 million. I would be surprised if it is that high, but it's easier to come down than it is to go up. You know, ultimately, when the appraisal comes in, you know, I will recommend an adjusted number that will be based upon what that appraisal is.
Okay. Then to be rather Teresa? Teresa, you have a comment?
Yes, yes, Teresa Manganelli. Have we been in discussion with the owners of this land?
I have been in conversations with Textron, who is currently the owner. They have indicated on several occasions that they are not interested in selling the property. The individual I've spoken with seems to appreciate the interest in the town. I've, you know, explained the proximity to the Untitled Park and our desire to potentially connect the two. And he seems to recognize that, but indicated that they were looking to keep the property, the 61 plus acres intact as one property. And ultimately at this point, they've been in discussions with National Development. National Development is concluding their due diligence. I did speak with a gentleman from National Development. He also indicated that he's been made aware of the town's interest in the property, but he believes in order to do what they're seeking to do with the property, which as I understand it is to put warehousing in there, they need this space as undeveloped space in order to conform to what he believes to be the zoning requirements. So he's indicated that if they purchase the property, he's willing to work with the town, and talked about the prospect of a license to use the property or some kind of arrangement, but clearly stopped short of any kind of conveyance of the property. So that's kind of where we are.
Thank you.
And the question,
so just to add to that, certainly one option, and ultimately this will, you know, will prior to the town meeting, I would expect to have an executive session meeting with the Board of Selectmen once the appraisal comes back to talk to them about the approach that they would like to take. There's, you know, a purchase if that was to be possible. Certainly one option would be eminent domain. Another option would be some type of a lease arrangement. And that's why we've in this article tried to cover all the bases.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? I would have no problem going up to 2 million on the motion, and then amend the figure at town meeting on the appraisal. Is that something that would be fair, Jeff?
Yes, I think so. Again, my expectation is that we would not need to go to that level, but I think at least it provides some latitude, and I think in this case, it would be my recommendation that, you know, whatever the amount is, that it be that we use free cash.
Okay, thank you.
Mary Angelezzo, John, why can't we just do without a dollar amount, whatever the appraised value would be?
Because then that restricts the motion on town floor, because we can't expand it, we only can constrict it, and that would be up to the town moderator. Okay, so if we do up to the 2 million, we have the flexibility, because otherwise you'd probably need another town meeting to go for the dollar value.
Mm-hmm. So you would need a dollar value at town meeting, even if we said the appraised value. So if Jeff has the appraisal in hand at town meeting and it's $1.5 million, how would that be restricted?
Well, what if we
want
to negotiate?
I would rather be on the side of caution and give a dollar value up to 2 million. Right. Depending on the appraised value, it could be $1 million, could be 800,000, could be anything. Okay. Right. And I just want to we give the Board of Selectmen and the town manager the ability to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess to that point, would we want to have a dollar figure that's been appropriated here then?
Yes. Up to, do an up to, okay? And that way there, whatever the appraisal comes in at, the Board of Selectmen and the town manager can negotiate with Textron or whoever owns the property at the time.
But what, I guess to my point, if Textron knows we've appropriated up to 2 million, would they?
No, I know.
Would they just say,
yeah, that's.
But we're not going to over purchase. That's for sure. You know?
Well, and just to add to the discussion, if you recall, when last year there was an article to pursue acquisition of 164 Wildwood Street, which is abutting the Wildwood Cemetery. Ultimately, there was a dollar value. I believe it was, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but something in the order of $458,000 or $450,000 or thereabouts was the amount that was approved at town meeting. And so, you know, ultimately there was that authorization was there for the board. So there will need to be an amount at town meeting that is appropriated, and it may not, as was the case with the value for 164, was a little in excess of the appraised value.
What did you just say?
Any other discussion?
I have Teresa Manganelli. I'm a little confused that we've spoken several times with the owner of the property and have spoken with the potential owner of the property, and all conversations point to they're not interested. So, I mean, obviously, I think this would be a great addition to Yentl Park. But why are we pursuing it in this area through town meeting if indications are that they do not want to entertain this?
Well, I think we want to keep the full range of options open. You know, they may change their mind, but as town council, I think, has certainly told me, and I believe the board on various occasions when we've talked about the acquisition of property, the reason the article is as broad as it is is because we want to have the maximum number of tools available, whether it's, a friendly acquisition, a lease, or, I guess in worst case scenario, an eminent domain situation. But having the full range of options at our disposal is helpful.
But I guess my question is, what is making you feel that there's hope that they are going to change their mind within the next year? These conversations have been going on for quite a while with Textron.
Right.
And there's still, it sounds like the new owner is not interested either. So I'm just curious as to what is driving this article when, where are you seeing hope that they will change their mind?
Well, I think it is probably a slim hope, but I just think to take that off the table and, I don't know, maybe once they become aware, and I'm not, sure how aware they are about the prospect of eminent domain, they may be more willing to have some discussions. I just don't see any harm in keeping, all options on the table. Whereas if we were to narrow our tools, so to speak, then it just, it perhaps could come back at us later on.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
I see no harm in keeping it as is.
Anyone have a problem with going up to 2 million?
No, I don't.
I don't.
Okay, then votes in favor: Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Next, Teresa, can you take Article 32?
32, thank you. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute, a sum of money to deposit in the other post-employment liability trust fund established in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 32B, Section 20. Take any other action related to. The amount is $1 million, and I make a motion to accept this article.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Michelle Kincaid, second.
Discussion. All in favor? Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Lee? Thank you. Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article 33. Marianne, could you take that one, please?
Sure. Article 33, to see if the town will vote to raise, appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to deposit into the Capital Stabilization Fund as established by vote on Article 23 at the April 27, 1991 annual town meeting, or take any other action related thereto. Make a motion. The dollar amount is $1 million to accept Article 33.
Thank you. Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Discussion. All in favor? Lee Martinson? Lee?
Yes.
Thank you. Andy Levine?
Can't hit the button. Sorry.
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
Thank you. Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 34. Michelle, could you take that one, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to raise and to appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money to pay the Middlesex Retirement System in addition to an annual assessment, or to take any other action related thereto. 1.5 million.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mary Ann Galezo.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Teresa Manganelli will second.
Discussion. All in favor? Bernie Nelly?
Yep.
Mary Ann Galezo?
Yes.
Thank you. Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Passes. Myself, yes. John, would you like to take Article number 35, please?
Yes, sir. Article 35, to see what sum the town will vote to transfer into various line items of the fiscal year 2021 budget from other line items of said budget and from other available funds, or take any other action related thereto. And I don't think there's a figure for that yet.
No, there isn't. What's going to happen is before town meeting, Jeff will present a proposed transfer, which we will approve at that date. And that figure will go to Article 35 to be voted on by the town. So Article 36. Kevin, would you like to take that one, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute a sum of money for the funding of the 4th of July celebration, or take any other action related thereto. And the amount was
50,000.
50,000.
Is there a motion?
To accept. Kevin
Thank
Stokes.
you. Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Thank you. Discussion. All in favor, Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galezo?
Yes.
Bernie Nelly?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 37. Andy, would you like to take that one, please?
Sure. Article 37, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable state statute a sum of money for the observance of Memorial Day and Veterans Day, or take any other action related thereto.
The amount of 8,000.
8,000.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve as read. Andy Levine.
Thank you. Thank you. Second?
Second, John Dugas.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor, Bernie Nelly?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galezo?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 38. Lee, could you take that one, please?
Sure can. Article 38. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate, transfer from available funds, or borrow pursuant to any applicable statute the sum of $750 each, a total of $1,500, for the purpose of renewing, under the authority of Section 9 of Chapter 40 of the General Laws as amended, the lease of A, Veterans of Foreign Wars Clubhouse for the purpose of providing suitable headquarters for the D. Ellsworth Post 2458 of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. B, American Legion Clubhouse, Inc., for the purpose of providing suitable headquarters for the Wilmington Post 136 of the American Legion, or take any other action related thereto.
I'll entertain a motion.
Teresa Manganelli, motion to accept.
There's a second.
Kevin Stokes, second.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, we'll vote to accept. Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galezo?
Yes.
Bernie Nelly?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes, passes. Article number 39. Bernie, would you like to take that one, please?
All right. Article 39, to see if the town will vote to appropriate from the PEG access and cable-related special revenue fund a sum of money to be expended under the direction of the Board of Selectmen for PEG access services pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53F and 3/4, or take any other action related thereto. I have a figure of $525,000.
That's from the cable bills.
I believe that's a ceiling figure too as well, right?
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I moved it.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, John Dugas.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, vote to approve. Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Marion Galizzo,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
and myself, yes, passes. Article 40, Teresa Manganelli, could you take that, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to determine the spending limits for revolving accounts established pursuant to Section 53E1/2 of Chapter 44 of the General Laws and Section 29 of Chapter 3 of the Town of Wilmington Inhabitant Bylaws for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending on June 30th, 2022 as follows, or take any other action related thereto. So this is a compost bin revolving fund for $4,500 and the subsurface sewage disposal upgrade revolving fund for $200,000. And I make a motion that we approve.
Is there a second?
Bernard Nally, I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor, Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Marion Galizzo,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Next, Article 41. Teresa, could you take that one, please?
Do you want me to? I just read the previous one.
I'm sorry. Michelle, could you take that one, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available sums of money to operate a public rank enterprise or to take any other action related thereto.
Is there a motion?
John Dugas, motion to accept.
Is there a
Marion
second?
Galizzo, second.
Discussion.
I believe we have a $526,000 figure.
Appropriation, yeah. Any other discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, Bernie Nally,
Yep. Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
and myself, yes. John, could you take the next one, please?
Yep. Article 42, to see if the town will vote to name the corner of Federal Street and Liberty Street as Edward J. Gillis Memorial Corner in memory and honor of Edward J. Gillis, who served this country honorably in the Navy Seabees, having served in the Pacific, stopping at Iwo Jima, and to have a sign installed to commemorate the same or take any other action related thereto. And I make a motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second by Teresa Manganelli.
Discussion. All in favor? Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
Bernie Nally,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes, Kevin Stokes,
He's muted.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes. Kevin,
Yes.
Thank you. Passes. Excuse me. Article number 43. Mary Ann, would you like to take that one?
Article 43, to see if the town will vote to adopt Massachusetts General Chapter 439, Section 23D, which provides that a member of any board, committee, or commission, when holding any adjudicatory hearing, shall not be disqualified from voting in the matter solely due to that member's absence from no more than a single session of the hearing at which testimony or other evidence is received. This is provided that before any such vote, the member shall certify in writing that she has examined all evidence received at the missed session, which evidence shall include an audio or video recording of the missed session or a transcript thereof. The written certification shall be part of the record of the hearing or take any other action related thereto. Make a motion to pass Article 43.
Is there a second?
Second by Teresa Manganelli.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll do the vote. Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Bernie Nelly?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Passes. Article number 44. John, could you take that one, please?
Yep. Article 44. To see if the town will vote to amend the first line of Inhabitant Bylaw, Chapter 5, Section 55, to read, Section 55, Traveling Animals Acts, or take any other action related thereto.
Is there a motion?
John Dugas, motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Kincaid, second.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the motion to accept. Bernie Nelly?
Yep.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Passes. Article number 45. Kevin, could you take that one, please?
Yes. To see if the town will vote to name the first floor meeting room at the Memorial Library the Barbara Johnson Room or take any other action related thereto. Motion to accept.
Thank you. A second?
Second, John Dugas.
Discussion. All in favor, Bernie Nelly?
Yep.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Thank you. Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Andy, can you take Article 46?
Sure. Article 46, to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw by creating a new brew pub use and amending table 1, principal use regulations as follows, or to take any other action related thereto. Add a new section 3.5.21, brew pub, restaurants licensed under the relevant state and federal statutes to produce and sell beer and/or ale at the location in whose primary business is the sale and preparation of food to be consumed on the premises. Malt beverages, including beer, ales, and hard ciders produced on the premises may be sold to other establishments, but shall not to exceed 25% of the brew pub's production capacity. And should I go through the next section?
All you have to do is say amend table 1, principal use.
Amend table 1, principal use regulations by adding a new use category 3.5.21.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
John Dugas, motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Teresa Manganelli was second.
And I'll have a brew.
Bernie?
I'll have a brew first.
Got to build a pub first.
We don't allow, Bernie, no brews.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote in favor. Lee Martinson,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
Bernie Nelly,
Yes.
myself, yes. Passes. Article number 47. Lee, could you take that one, please?
I can. Just let me pull it up here. All right. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw by deleting section 3.8.4 and amending line 3.5.5 of table 1 principal use regulation as follows, or take any other action related thereto as the table is amended.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to accept, Lee Martinson.
Is there a second?
Second, Andy Levine.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll vote to accept. Bernie Nelly,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson,
Yes.
myself, yes, passes. Article number 48. Bernie, could you take that one, please? Yes.
Does everybody have the planning board recommendations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Article 48. Bernie, could you take that?
Okay. I'm sorry. Article 48, see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw by amending section 6.6.8.1 as follows, or take any other action related thereto. 6.6.8.1, special permit granting authority. The special permit granting authority under this bylaw shall be the Zoning Board of Appeals, except that the Planning Board shall be the SPGA for section 6.6.7.7, non-residential uses. Special permits shall be granted in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, and Section 10.5 of the zoning bylaw. Such special permits shall be granted if the SPGA determines, in conjunction with the other town agencies indicated in section 10.5.9, that the intent of this bylaw, as well as its criteria, are met. In making such a determination, the SPGA shall give consideration to the simplicity, reliability, and feasibility of the control measures proposed and the degree and threat to water quality which would result if the control measure fails. And I'll move that motion for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Discussion. Planning board recommends approval by a 5-0 vote. Any other discussion? Ready for the vote for approval? Bernie Nelly,
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo,
Yes.
Manganelli,
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid,
Yes.
John Dugas,
Yes.
Kevin Stokes,
Yes.
Andy Levine. Andy Levine,
Yes.
Lee Martinson.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is Article number 49. Teresa Manganelli, please.
Yes. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning map of the town of Wilmington by rezoning the following parcels from Residence 20 to Residence 10, or to take any other action related thereto. Map 19, parcels 13A, 13B, 13C, 13D, 13E, 14, 15, 16A, 17A, 17B, 18, 18A, 18B, 18C, 18D, 21, 22, 22A, 22B, 22C, 22D, 22E, and 23A. And I make a motion to accept.
Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Thank you. Planning board recommends approval. Any other further discussion? If not, ready for the vote. Lee Martinson.
Yes.
Andy Levine.
Yes.
Kevin Stokes.
Yes.
John Dugas.
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid.
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli.
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo.
Yes.
Bernie Nally.
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 50. Marianne, could you take that, please?
No.
Nope, sorry. John, could you take that one?
Yes. Article 50, to see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen to enter into an agreement, the terms of which shall be determined by the selectmen, to sell, convey, or otherwise dispose of all or part of the following described parcel: map 40, lot 100, and map 40, lot 101. This land is adjacent to a lot that we already own and is also adjacent to a lot we are building our future home on, 15 Parker Street. These two small lots would square off the land to give our young children direct access to the neighborhood behind the house that is being built for us, keeping them safely off busy Parker Street. If we were to purchase the land, we have no intentions of building, but the exact opposite, where we would be assured that nobody else would build there, securing precious undeveloped land or take any other action related thereto.
The planning board recommend disapproval of this one on a 5-0 vote. The parcels may be of future use to the town. I'll entertain a motion from someone.
Teresa Manganelli, I make a motion to disapprove.
Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Any discussion? All in favor of disapproval, Bernie Nelly.
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Michelle Kincaid.
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli.
Yes.
John Dugas.
Yes.
Kevin Stokes.
No.
Andy Levine. Andy.
Yes. Sorry.
Thank you. Lee Martinson.
Yes.
And Marianne, are you going to abstain?
Looks like
Herself.
Yeah, I believe she is.
Okay.
She recused herself.
Okay, so it is approved for disapproval. Article number 51. Michelle, can you take that one, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to request the state legislature authorize Christian Stokes have his results for the 2021 and all future results, if needed, Massachusetts Civil Service fire exam to be allowed for employment without regard to the applicant's age as a firefighter in the town of Wilmington, notwithstanding the provisions of the general laws, rules, regulations to the contrary, regulating the age of the applicant, provided he meets all other requirements, he shall be eligible for certification and appoint to the fire department, the Wilmington Fire Department, by an appointing authority regardless of his age, or take any other action related thereto.
I have a couple questions about this one before we go forward.
Sure.
I messaged Jeff about these earlier. Is the 31-year-old limit, is that for intents and purposes designed to have our firefighters be physically able, or is it to put a guardrail in place around length of service before collecting a town pension?
It's civil service regulations.
So, Mr. Chair, it's a great question. As Mr. Nally said, it is within the civil service. There's a provision, MGL 3158A, I believe it is, that sets the age at 32. after your 32nd birthday, you would be ineligible to pursue the civil service exam. It's not clear to me what what the rationale was when it was first put in place. I had a conversation earlier today with the fire chief to see if he had any indication as to what the history might have been, and we don't. So I don't know. It's in some respects a bit curious given the current environment we have, where there's an age discrimination law at the age of 40, and certainly I'm not aware of any other occupations where once you hit a certain age, you're ineligible to pursue that occupation. But there may have been some basis in terms of the physical condition at the time, but it's not clear.
No, that's fine. I didn't know if we knew an answer. I just, on a personal level, don't necessarily feel qualified to judge if someone I've never met is qualified to do a job I've never done. So, I mean, I hope if Chief Kavanaugh thinks he can get onto the force, then he can. I just don't know that I feel I'm a good vote one way or another for this.
Mr. Chair, if I could just add, the individuals that, whether on the police or fire side, individuals who are seeking application to one of these positions, there is a pre-employment physical that the town requires. And then separate from that, there's a PAT. And maybe Carrie, you could speak to that.
Sure. So they have to go through aptitude testing by the state in order to qualify for the position. They have to do certain maneuvers and exercises within certain limitations. And then they also, if they pass that, then they have a psychiatric exam that the town has them go through. So they have to be qualified in many aspects before they even get a conditional job, a job offer. And then they go through the academy and have to pass the academy too. So there is a process.
Excellent.
Any other comments?
Yes, Teresa Manganelli. I'm not speaking directly towards this particular individual. So I trust that Chief Kavanaugh's comments earlier in the week that he would be happy to have this individual on his team. However, I do, in general, have a problem with the phrase "in all future results, if so needed."
I do too.
I don't know if it's possible, if anyone else has an issue with that, to amend the article, or if we would have to disapprove the article because it's of the way it's written. I just feel that, and I understand about how they have to be qualified. But I feel like it opens the door for, this particular person, only because they're the person that is petitioning it, to come back in 5 years or 7 years. It's open-ended. So that's the only issue that I have with it. And I'm not quite sure what to do about that.
I agree. I had the same concern, but I think Chief Kavanaugh would still be that sort of guard for us against being hired onto the force at a time when it was not.
Well, I'm afraid that it opens it up legally. It gives him more, if there were a problem, this is like legally opening up the doors and putting the town at a disadvantage if there was a conflict.
Right.
Well,
the way it's worded.
I don't like the way it's worded. I do have a question for Carrie. What would happen if he came in 10th on the list? Okay. He's not guaranteed a position in Wilmington, though, would he?
No, absolutely not. So when the process is, when you have an opening for civil service position, if you have one opening, then you look at the first 3 people on the list, and you still go through an interview process. And you would have to have a very good reason to bypass the number 1 person on the list. So it's the placement on the list is very important also.
So if he came in within the first 3, he probably would get on the force if an opening was there.
Well, if he's number 1, there's a better chance if you're number 1 because you're the number 1 person on the list. So if you're going to bypass number 1, you have to have a very good reason that number 2, if that's your choice, has qualifications that number 1 doesn't, or number 1 is deficient in things that you need. So it's not an easy process to bypass people. You have to have very good reasons, and then they can still petition and disagree with the bypass, and you go through a civil service process. And they review your documentation. If you're interviewing people, you should videotape and audio tape it so that you can prove what was said. It's a very serious process that you go through when you're hiring in civil service or when you're promoting.
Now the latest list just came out, right?
Yes, it just came out today, official list.
Yeah,
the 2021.
Yeah, Bernie, I'd like to comment. What this bill article actually does, it permits them to take the exam only. Mm-hmm. And once they pass the exam, they're on the same level as everybody else is. And so they have to, as Carrie said, do all the process. But the basic of it is it permits them to take the exam, which the civil service denies them.
Only for Wilmington.
Yeah, only for Wilmington.
Now, when is the next exam?
Well, this was the state exam that has been put off because of COVID. We've been waiting for a list for a long time. I don't know when the next one is because this list there were a number of new candidates. They're on our new list. Yeah. So if we have openings, we'll be using this list.
Teresa, I agree with you with the language. I'm wondering if we let it go forward and amend it on the floor at the town meeting. Take that language out. I don't think, can we amend it tonight?
That's what I'm not sure if we can do that.
I don't believe we can. Right, correct, Jeff?
I think that I suppose the committee could make a recommendation that the committee would agree or recommend the language as amended. But as a practical matter, these petition articles have to be written and presented on the warrant as they're received by us. So, I guess there's probably nothing that would prohibit the Finance Committee from making a recommendation to accept or to support the article with some kind of a modification if that were to be considered at town meeting.
Well, the other alternative is it could be disapproved by the committee, but still goes before town meeting, and town meeting can approve it.
Right. And we could actually get town meeting and explain why it was disapproved.
Correct. And if the proponent would amend the article to take out and all future results if so needed, I would support it.
We had this issue with the plastic bag ban.
Yes.
Where we had issues with the way it was written, and the Finance Committee disapproved it, and then spoke at town meeting asking the body of the town meeting to approve it because it had been corrected by that point. But while it was in front of us, we just couldn't go forward with it.
Ms. Hooper did a good job.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I think it may be cleaner to just consider the article as presented, and then, if the committee is so inclined to disapprove based upon some of the items that you expressed, then as was pointed out previously at town meeting, you can explain the basis for that disapproval.
And I think if the proponent then changes the language, I think we'd all be for it. But I think it'd be up to at town meeting if we disapprove it that he takes out that section, all future results if needed.
Do we have the ability to communicate this to him before town meeting? Okay.
Good, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll entertain a motion. Any further discussion? If not,
Kevin Stokes, can you just clarify what we're voting on now?
Well, I'm entertaining a motion either to accept or reject Article 51 and one section within the article in the second line there, and all future results if so needed, which makes it kind of open-ended. So if he fails the next 5 and passes in the next 6 in years to come, he would be eligible for Wilmington.
Okay.
My personal feeling is we should reject it, contact him, and ask him if he could remove that at town meeting.
Understood. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Do you want a motion, John?
Please.
Teresa Manganelli, I make a motion to disapprove Article 51.
A second.
Oh, I second Michelle Kuzi.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready for the vote to disapprove. Bernie Nally?
No. Okay. No, I don't approve the motion.
Okay. Mary Ann Calizzo?
Disapprove.
Okay. Michelle Kincaid?
Disapprove.
Teresa Manganelli?
I approve the motion to disapprove.
Okay. Michelle, you're approving the motion to disapprove?
I think this is getting a little bit confusing.
I know. Why can't I just say yes like I always do?
Okay.
Yes.
You're making your vote is to disapprove. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
John Dugas.
Can I ask Bernie why he voted against this in this moment, or are we past that?
I'll give you some leeway. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think we could pass it as is and ask for that a change in the motion on the floor, frankly. Just the opposite of what you're going to do. So it doesn't probably make that much difference. Just in historically, I've usually approved these petitions. I'm not sure if it's the first one that's come through with the language or any other, however it reads now, I can't see it. But that was my main objection.
Okay.
Historically,
trying to understand as the old police chief here. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Monson?
No.
No. Myself, yes. Motion passes. Article number...
Mr. Chairman, if I just, for my own clarification, so the vote was, it sounds like 7 in favor of disapproval and 2 opposed of disapproval. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Article number 52. Michelle, could you, John, could you take that one, please?
Yep. Article 52, to see if the town will vote to disposition of town-owned land on Lake Street, map 55, lot 228A, 55, 228A, or take any other action related thereto.
The planning board recommended disapproval 5-0. I'll entertain a motion.
Teresa Manganelli, I recommend disapproval.
Is there a second?
Lee Martinson, second.
Discussion.
I've got. It looks like what Jeff sent over. The property review board does see this as being surplus land to the town, and then the planning board does not. Do we have any ideas to the, I guess, intricacies of why for each one?
It says that the parcel maintains public land along Silver Lake and may be of use to the town in the future. So,
I don't know if we had any additional details beyond that.
None whatsoever.
Okay.
You'd have to watch that meeting.
John,
Yeah,
that was the planning board, right? Mary Ann Gillespie, that was a planning board's recommendation, right?
That's correct, yes. Yeah.
We still don't have the surplus report?
Yes, Jeff sent it out to us.
Okay.
It should be in your email.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I am on the property review board, and we had discussion, and no one felt that the town would have any need for that parcel based on where it's located on the lake. And we do own some other parcels on the lake. We talked about, would there be need for emergency trucks to get in there? And our determination was no. And that's why we voted that we felt it was surplus.
Is there any beach there, or is it strictly vegetation?
I don't know the answer to that question. I believe that it's beach, but I can't say for sure. We didn't talk about whether it was beach or not, but the discussion was that most of the parcels on the lake are that are directly on the lake across from the street are owned by the residents that live across the street. Okay. And that this, I believe this was taken for non-payment of taxes years ago.
What's the assessed value?
We did not discuss the assessed value because Karen said that she would have to come up with a value. It's a very, very small parcel though.
So, Manganelli, my comment regarding this is that I feel like access to Silver Lake is pretty limited to residents, and we should, at any point that we have an opportunity to keep access, we should maintain that.
Can it be used for someone to put like a canoe or a kayak in the water?
It looked like there was enough space to do that.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I just don't know where they'd park.
Yeah, that's the problem, especially on that side of the.
Can I just ask a question? I just want to make sure I understand the facts. So we got a parcel of land. We don't know what it's worth. We haven't checked, but we want to hold on to it.
No.
Well, it provides access to the lake. It's right.
Planning board wants to hold on to it. The property review board says it's surplus.
Okay. So we don't know what the value of it is.
No.
I think unfortunately, if we're seeing such a small area and it's hard to visualize.
Is that on the Tewksbury side? I mean, is that on the, like, what side? Is that the? Okay.
It's the north side.
The north side, yeah. Okay.
Right. And the reason we don't have a value is because the assessor has to come up with a current value prior to town meeting of what the property is worth. So she has to look at comps and come up with something.
Oh, you think we'll have that?
Yeah, she has to do that prior to town meeting.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
Yeah, it's not free to the homeowner. We just don't give the land back. They actually have to pay fair market value to the town for the piece of parcel.
And the reality is, Kevin, anybody could bid on it.
Right.
Right. Just saying, it's basically up for auction.
Okay, great.
So if you want a little piece of Silver Lake, there you go.
I'll abstain. Thank you.
Okay. I'll entertain the motion.
Before we go on, so I
already
actually
have a motion, don't we?
Yeah, we have a motion for disapproval.
Okay.
It looks like this, and this is very unscientific. I'm just on Google Maps looking across the street from 21 Lake Street. It looks like this is already gated off to the public as is.
Yeah, I think I know exactly where this spot is. I think it is, and I think they put a lawn in there, and there's like a little boat thing. Yeah.
Why is someone gated off public property?
Yeah, you can't do that. It's public property.
Yeah.
Well, they did say that they are taking care of it. So
Yeah, but you can't gate it off. You can
gate
mow
off
it if
public
you want,
property.
but
well,
Bernie, yeah, this is Bernie. It could very well have been the town that gated it off
mm-hmm.
at some point in past history.
Mm-hmm.
No. Any further discussion? Then to disapprove, Bernie?
Yes.
Marianne?
yes.
Michelle?
No.
Teresa?
Yes.
John Dugas?
No.
Andy Levine?
No.
Kevin Stokes?
No.
Lee Martinson?
Yes for disapproval.
And I'm for yes. Chris, what do you have for a tally?
So we are 4 against and 5 for disapproval. So disapproval passes.
Disapproval passes. Okay, next, article number 53. Kevin, can you take that one, please?
Hang on. $53. To see if the town will vote to name the soccer field behind the North Intermediate School in the memory and honor of Frank S. Latine, the teacher and coach who in 1964 developed the first soccer program for Wilmington High School that continues today, or take any other action related thereto.
John Dugas, motion to approve.
There's a second.
Second, Marianne Galezzo.
Discussion. Ready for the vote? Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes. Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
Bernie Nally?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Passes. Article number 54. Andy, could you take that one?
Sure. Article 54. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaws and associated zoning map of the town of Wilmington by voting to rezone from residential 60, R60, to residential 20, R20, the following described parcel of land. The land at and known as 417 Andover Street, Wilmington, Mass. 01887, Middlesex County, Massachusetts, as more fully described in a deed recorded in Middlesex North District Registry of Deeds, Book 23986, page 154. Said premises containing 19.379 square feet of land on Assessor's Map R3, parcel 15. Beginning at a stone bound on Andover Street, which is 112 feet north of the corner of Andover Street and the road leading into Foster's Pond, north 65 degrees east, 217 feet to a stone bound on the shore of Foster's Pond. Then, in a northerly direction along the shore of said pond, 100 feet to an iron pipe. Then south 65 degrees west in a line parallel to the first mentioned line, 168 feet to an iron, we need a picture of this, to an iron pipe at Andover Street. The distance between the two parallel lines mentioned being 100 feet. Then in a southerly direction along Andover Street, 124 and 35/100ths feet to the point of beginning. or take any other action related thereto.
The planning board recommended approval 5-0 on Article 50. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
on Article 54.
Yep. Lee Martinson, motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Teresa Manganelli with second.
Discussion. Seeing none. Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Eddie Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 55. Lee, could you take that one, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to acquire land behind 12 Ohio Street, Wilmington. Hello, neighbor. We are looking to acquire the land behind our home at 12 Ohio Street. This property is currently town-owned, but after speaking with multiple parties at the Wilmington Town Hall, it is believed that the property had once belonged to our homeowner. It was never claimed. Being able to purchase this property would bring our lot to almost the same size as the rest of the neighborhood. Our intent is to be able to clean up the area beside and behind our home and be able to finally give our children a proper and safe backyard. Thank you for your time and support. We are looking forward to have our family grow in this great neighborhood or take any other action related thereto.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. The planning board approved 5-0.
Is there a second?
Frank Galezzo, second.
Discussion? I do have a question. If you look at the map, lot 12 and lot 16, the town-owned land straddles both properties.
Right.
Okay. I would assume there's a home on 16 Ohio Street. So if this was to pass, 12 Ohio Street would actually own, land that is on 16 Ohio.
Well, 16 Ohio would have the opportunity to bid on that land as well.
True, that's true.
They could actually have come to some sort of agreement to square off 16. I actually know somebody that did that. But that's something that they would have to figure out when they had an opportunity to bid on it. But I understand what you're saying. I had the same question.
Yeah, Bernie, the other family may not want any because it'd be just a small piece, but they can make arrangements with the other people possibly to buy that piece to square their property off.
Yeah, this is Lee. At the end of the day, it's like town-owned land in the middle of nowhere, and it should go to somebody in that neighborhood to put it to use.
Yep.
That's how I feel. So,
okay.
Motion to approve, still pending.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do the vote. Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Mary Ann Galizzo?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Myself, yes, passes. Article number 56. Bernie, could you take that one, please?
Yes. 56. Article 56, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into an agreement, the terms of which shall be determined by the Selectmen, to sell, convey, or otherwise dispose of any land within the parcel depicted by Assessors Map 6 as Map 6, parcels 149 and 150, in which the town might claim a right, title, or interest to, following a determination made by the town manager that such land is not needed for any municipal purpose in accordance with Chapter 3, Section 16 of the bylaws of the inhabitants of the town of Wilmington, revised, and other applicable law, or take any other action related thereto. A true copy of map 6 is on file with the town clerk's office. And I would make a motion.
The planning board recommend disapproval on 5-0. The parcels are located within a large block of town-owned land and may be of future use to the town.
And my motion is to disapprove.
Mary Angeles will second it.
Discussion.
This is another one where the property review board recommended that the parcel is surplus to the town's needs. So I just wanted to know if Carrie, if you don't mind, sorry to keep going to you, providing any insight into that.
Sure. Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes, please.
We discussed the parcels and there was a split vote on this one, I believe. Some people felt that, you know, we have a lot of town-owned land around it. Others felt that it's so close to the other parcel that it really wouldn't impact the town land. So the vote went with the people in approval that it was surplus, but there was quite a bit of discussion.
May I ask a question, Teresa Manganelli?
Yes, please.
Question of Kerry?
Yes, please.
Kerry, I understand that the comment was that there's a lot of town-owned land around here, but how can we ascertain where that property is that's town-owned? Because it doesn't indicate on the map. So
we had separate maps that we received from Karen Rashis, the town assessor, and she had marked up where all the town-owned land was on our maps that we were looking at as a property review board.
Do you happen to remember if it was, for instance, any of the abutting parcels?
I do not.
Oh,
I don't, and they are in my office. I'm at home right now, so the maps are in my office, and I don't recall where exactly the other town-owned parcels were.
Okay, so you're not sure if they're contiguous.
This is Bernard Nally. I think that's a new street that was put in recently. I don't know if there are houses currently there along the way or not.
The petitioner at the meeting said he owned 3 different parcels around it and was looking to acquire these 2 to make the land buildable to himself.
Right.
Right.
Well, he's a developer.
He's a developer. He's not
for
his own home.
Right. Do we happen to know what the size of this lot is? These 2 lots?
From looking at the map, they're very, very small.
They were small.
One is, they're both 87 feet deep, but it doesn't give me the width on the map.
Well, if they're 87 feet deep, it looks like that you would have a similar width. Just based.
No, they don't. No, they're very, very narrow. They're narrow and long.
That's not.
If you put both together, they might be about 87 feet.
Yeah, right, together, both together. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Square.
Yeah, I can square that.
So, Mr. Chair, just I did pull up the map that Karen distributed to the group, and it's. I mean, I could forward it to the committee if that's helpful. But there are. Looks like there's a paper street across from these parcels, and then there's several small pieces of town property on the opposite side of this paper street that are all town owned.
Is that Mary Street? That's a paper street? Or Stanley Street?
I think Stanley is the paper.
Yeah.
Because the lots across from Stanley are very big.
Yeah.
So well.
Jeff, does that map show if that land other than the paper street is contiguous to any other town-owned land?
It does not appear to be contiguous to other town land. Oh, well, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, so the petitioner owns the stuff in green.
Right.
Okay, and the town,
Right.
according to what I can tell from the legend when I zoom in, everything in yellow is town owned. And what we're talking about is 6-149, which is walled off from him. There is a house on 6-14B, and I think the new road Bernie mentioned, let's see, comes off that. Right. So, you know, whether he's able to put a house in there, which would be a good use of that surplus property that is, you know, surrounded by stuff that he already owns.
Yes, I remember that map before, yes.
Yeah. So he's kind of got it flanked off. You know, we've had some other articles coming up where we're telling people to build homes in places where, you know, others may disagree. So I'm in favor of disposing of this land. Put one house back here. That'd be great.
Lee, do you have any way of seeing the size of the lot?
I'd have to go to the GIS website, and you'd be able to, the town GIS map will tell you that. If you give me a minute, I can pull it up.
I think this is the map the proponent showed at Tommy at
right.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is,
and I wonder what the zoning is there.
Let me see if I can
There's
find
a lot of questions we don't have answers.
Yeah, was that on your map from Karen?
No.
Zoning? No.
So it looks like I'm on the GIS website. It looks like one is the smaller sliver is 87 by 25. And the larger one I have 88, but I don't have another dimension here. Actually, it's going to be 50, 88 by 50.
Okay, so it's 88 by 75 combined, or 87 by 75.
Yeah, it's going to be slightly askew, but about right. But I'm kind of with Lee. I don't really know if he's got it flanked off what else the town's going to do with that. I think they'd probably be a good use.
Bernie Nally here. I did make a motion to disapprove, but after seeing the results of the property review board, I'm going to withdraw my motion and make a new motion to approve.
And who seconded?
Al Kincaid, I second.
I second the last one, yeah. That's fine.
You're going to withdraw your second on the, okay.
Yes, and then second his new one.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, ready for the vote? So this is vote for approval of disposing of the land. Bernie?
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Passes. Next, Article 57. Teresa, could you do that, please?
Sure. To see if the town will vote to dispose of town-owned property at 848 Woburn Street, Wilmington, to whom it may concern. Brookfield Properties develops and operates more than 625 properties, 325 million square feet of high-quality, sustainability-focused real estate assets around the globe. Our team employs a fresh approach, unparalleled creativity, and relentless innovation to the planning, development, and management of our buildings. In conjunction with local contractors, Brookfield Properties has developed a $4 million plus capital plan to upgrade the property with a focus on improving the appearance, functionality, and efficiency of the building. Because the property has not been properly maintained or renovated since 1974, planned capital improvement include ADA and fire life safety system updates, enhancing the building profile through facade and landscaping improvements, and parking lot and truck court upgrades. The current configuration lacks suitable car parking, which is a critical piece to improve the functionality of this building. With the inclusion of the additional city-owned parcel, the site offers more efficient traffic flow, enhanced safety through separate car and the truck traffic and parking, ability to attract multiple tenants and long-term jobs to the building in the town of Wilmington. We are excited about pursuing the proposed transaction and are prepared to discuss any aspects of it with you. Should you have any questions, please contact Philip Very at philipvery@cushwake.com or take any other action related thereto. And I believe that the planning board mentioned approval on this article, and
5-0.
And I will make a motion to approve it as well.
Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Discussion. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Lee Martinson.
I'm in favor.
Kevin Stokes.
Yes.
Andy Levine.
Yes.
John Dugas.
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid.
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli.
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo.
Yes.
Bernie Nally.
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Passes. Next is Article 58. Marianne, could you do that one, please?
Sure. Article 58, to see if the town of Wilmington will vote to amend the zoning bylaws of the town of Wilmington and associate zoning map of the town of Wilmington by voting to rezone from general business to neighborhood mixed use the parcels of land identified as parcels 11 and 13 of the town of Wilmington Assessors Map 40. For a more particular description of the subject premises, see deed recorded at the Middlesex North District Registry of Deeds at Book 35186, page 80, or take any other action related thereto.
And the planning board voted approval 4-1. The uses allowed in the neighborhood mixed use district are appropriate for the neighborhood. I'll entertain a motion.
Lee Martinson, motion to disapprove.
Is there a second?
Teresa Manganelli, I'll second.
Okay. Discussion.
Yeah, Marianne Galizzo, I'm really torn in this article. That's a really narrow street, and I'm afraid with Untitled, you're going to have an overflow from, you know, the apartment buildings over to parking over at Untitled, and there's not much parking there to begin with.
Well, don't forget, a couple of years ago, we approved I think it's the condominiums at Butters Row and Main Street, which hasn't started yet.
I know.
Actually, I think they just started, right? Isn't it all walled off over there? The fence and everything? Is that the spot we're talking?
I haven't been down that way. I haven't been down that way, so I don't know.
I was there today, 635 Main Street. Yeah, I think they got it all built up, and there's going to be a huge apartment complex there.
Right.
Yeah. Look,
I'm afraid that's from for those apartments, it's going to start to be a cut through.
Well, it already is.
It's already a cut through.
Yeah, but now you add, you know, a large condominium complex on the other side.
You know,
I don't know. I mean, I just think you're cramming too much into that one area. I don't know if anybody's been there during a Saturday or when there's multiple games going on. And it is a crazy.
Yes.
And most of the people, the overflow, that's where they park, is along that wooded area when there's no parking in the end top.
You think it's bad now? It's going to be.
It's going to be worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't see that happening.
Yep.
It's going to be worse.
And that's a terrible intersection as it is.
I know.
Well,
And
the intersection is going to be squared off. The state is squaring that off so that when you hit 38, if you're trying to take a turn off a cross street, instead of making that awkward turn where you have to hope you're seeing whatever's coming down the road, it's going to be squared off with a light. So I think that will help. Maybe that might even slow down traffic from entering cross street if they have to go through a light. But I just feel at this point to add apartments on that street 15 to 25 units is a lot in an area that's got some difficulties.
My other train of thought too is if you keep it general business and you could attract a few little businesses there, they're probably not going to operate on a Saturday or weeknight. Actually help a little bit with the traffic over there, and they could use that parcel for parking, so to speak. You know, it happens at Rotary Park all the time. All the businesses around there, you know, that's where a lot of the people park. I just think it's gonna exacerbate Untitled at this point.
Well, at this point, I haven't heard anyone for it, so the motion to disapprove is still pending and seconded.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, ready for the vote? Bernie Nally, for disapproval?
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Motion passes to disapprove Article 58. Article 59. Michelle, could you take that one, please?
Yeah. To see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen to enter into an agreement the terms of which shall be determined by the selectmen to sell, convey, or otherwise dispose of all or part of the following described parcel, following a determination made by the town manager that the land is not needed for any municipal purpose in accordance with Chapter 3, Section 16 of the bylaws of the inhabitants of the town of Wilmington revised. In other applicable law, the parcel being located at Aldridge Road and described in the town of Wilmington assessor record as map 9, lot 56, or take any other action related thereto.
The planning board recommends approval 5-0. And the property review board?
Approval 12-0.
I'll entertain a motion.
A motion to approve, John Dugas.
Is there a second?
Michelle Kincaid.
Discussion.
Did the property review board agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, ready for a vote? Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Passes. Article 60. John, could you take that one, please?
Yep. Article 60, to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw and associated zoning map of the town of Wilmington as follows. By rezoning from residential R60, or residential 60, R60, to highway industrial, the land shown as parcel 2A on assessor's map R1, the land shown as parcel as 19A on assessor's map R2, and the land shown as parcels 24 and 24A on assessor's map 103. And further, by rezoning from general industrial to GI to highway industrial HI, the land shown as parcel 1A on assessor's map R1, all of which premises are a portion of the land described in a deed recorded at Middlesex North District Registry of Deeds in book 15876, page 245, or do anything in relation thereto. The planning board voted against this. I would make a motion to disapprove as well.
Is there a second? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Lee Martinson.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Teresa Manganelli.
Discussion. In looking at the proposal by the proponent, I think it would be an enhancement to the town to have a hotel and a couple more restaurants. And I don't think that is a great area to put up residential. That's my personal opinion.
I totally agree.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, if I could, I would also echo that. In fact, a couple of years ago, I had a conversation with one of the executives of one of the businesses, principal businesses here in town, and he commented about the fact that they have executives that come in on a regular basis, and more often than not, they tend to go to lunch in Burlington, and was kind of suggesting it would be nice if Wilmington had a spot that that they could go to for lunch. When you look at the fact that we have Sylvania Osram, which is, they have their North American headquarters literally across the street on Ballardvale Street. You've got Charles River Lab up the street, Analog Devices, on the other, down the street, so to speak. But we've also got businesses up on Research Drive, on Johnston Road. I think any number of these businesses, as it is right now, to the extent that they have clients or representatives from their other offices across the country, around the world for that matter, that come in, they presumably are having their lodging needs met in Woburn or Burlington or elsewhere. And it would be nice to be able to accommodate them here in Wilmington, as well as the restaurants, and also be able to generate some new growth. The property taxes, potentially the meals tax obviously would have a impact. So from my perspective, it makes sense to endorse this, and not to mention the fact that it's literally right off of 93. So to the extent that there's traffic, a lot of that's going to be on and off of 93. So it's not impacting neighborhoods.
Plus you can get hotel motel excise too.
I cannot think of a higher and better use for that property.
Absolutely.
I just have doubts that Wilmington's in a place right now that we're going to attract the type of hotels and restaurants that's actually going to draw people away from still frequenting Burlington or surrounding towns in this situation. Which is just my concern. Because I don't want to end up getting stuck with like a second-rate motel in Applebee's, which I don't think we necessarily need. I think that is a somewhat realistic possibility here.
If you
personal views, though,
they will come.
Yeah. Right. Teresa Manganelli, I feel like if we are going to try and attract these international companies to invest in Wilmington, we really cannot say, well, come here, we'll work with you in many different ways, but we're not going to give you food or shelter. You'll have to go somewhere else for that. It kind of defeats the whole purpose. It makes the area less attractive if we don't have something that coincides with the business that's going on in that area. I think to have residential units in the middle of this area is just inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. And
so,
I agree. Yes, Michelle Kincaid. You're right. It's right off the highway, and you're not far from Boston. I mean, there are people that come out here to do business, and they're staying, down the street at the Marriott in Woburn, or they can go to Tewksbury to America. So I guess my question is, why wouldn't you think that we couldn't get a hotel like that or in a better location?
I mean, partially because those other hotels already exist would be my concern.
We don't know what could, Teresa Manganelli, we don't know what will go in there. There were several options suggested, and that would be up to the owner of the land to develop in cooperation with the town. It's not to the owner of the land's benefit to bring in a dewdrop in when they could get, you know, a Hyatt Place or a smaller Marriott or, you know, a reputable place to stay because they want to do business. So I'm not concerned about that. I don't think this is something that, I think this is something that will enhance the area.
As Kevin Stokes, I think the one thing we have as a benefit of this town is our geography. You know, where we are right on 93, you know, perfectly situated, you know, outside the city, but not too far outside the city. I think that's a huge benefit. And the other thing I can't stop thinking about is a few weeks ago, we talked about all of the needs we have for capital improvements in all of our buildings. And, you know, where's all this money going to come from? You know, we need these types of initiatives and projects to help give us the tax base that can actually pay for some of these new schools and new fire facilities, et cetera, that we've been talking about. Where's it going to come from if it doesn't come from these types of projects?
All right, John Dugas, I'm convinced.
And Andy Levine, can someone translate the recommendation? The zoning should remain R60 and general GI until there's a more comprehensive study. What are they looking for? Like, what is a more comprehensive study?
We don't know.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Sounds like it was late at night.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty thorough. They gave 2 or 3 different options. I don't understand the response.
Yeah, they did give a very good presentation. I didn't think it was.
They gave a great presentation. The other thing too is, and Jeff, you can correct me. In the past year, hasn't a few firms committed over $100 million on Ballardvale Street, buying properties up there?
Yeah, it's certainly a hot spot, so to speak, in terms of you know, turnover of property and investing in property. So people are aware of, as was noted, the location and proximity to, you know, Boston 495, 93, 128. Yeah, so it's, and you know, the other point, and I would just note, it's certainly would be a benefit to the town if this ultimately goes through. The willingness to provide the town with that piece of property R1-1 that abuts this existing property. I know in talking to Mike Woods, he has been interested in that property for probably 20 plus years as additional protection for the Browns Crossing well field, which, as you know, is really our last remaining well field here in Wilmington, given that we have the Chestnut well fields offline because of Olin. So, and that was, there was a number of discussions that had taken place many months ago that dealt in part with, you know, the town's interest in potentially a fire substation up in that neck of the woods. And there were meetings that took place with representatives from the proponents here. And, you know, we expressed an interest in looking at acquiring that piece of property, R1-1, because it's as good, if not better protection than the property we own. And so the prospect that they're going to offer that to the town as a gift, in my perspective, is a win-win. So, you know, I think between the fact that the potential development, you know, stands on its own in terms of merits, it's supplemented by the idea that we would get a additional piece of property to protect our remaining well fields.
Bernie, I like the idea of it. I can see real issues on the traffic. Their drawing showed that a full intersection at Ballardvale Street at the end. I I'm assuming that the state would not want to make another entrance further down Route 125. But we'll have a lot of traffic there.
Yeah, but the other thing too is, Bernie, if you were listening to Val Gingrich, not this year, I believe at last year's committee meetings, the intersection at 125 in Ballardvale heading towards Target, you have 2 lanes turning left going into 1 lane, then going 2 lanes and then into 1 lane. And it creates a problem there because you have a lot of tractor trailers making that turn. Hopefully, with an entrance across the street from that, they'll be able to square off that intersection and make it a lot safer.
Yeah, I would assume, I would agree with that. I would assume the planning board would be involved in asking them to do quite a bit of work on the intersection to make it work. I don't object to it. I'm just saying traffic is going to be a problem. That's all.
And Mr. Chair, I would just note that certainly part of the review process, I would fully expect that, when they get to that stage, they will be providing a traffic analysis, and presumably the planning board, as it does in these types of cases, would want to have that traffic study peer reviewed. So there would be a pretty rigorous review of the impacts at that intersection.
Teresa Manganelli, I'm just remembering now, wasn't there a stipulation about a cut that they wanted access?
They would have to get a highway cut. Yeah, they'd have to get a highway cut.
Yeah. Okay.
Any further discussion? Ready for the vote?
Yep.
Okay. Lee Martinson?
Yes on the motion to approve.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Okay. John Dugas?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Bernie Nelly?
Yes.
And I assume Mary Ann's going to abstain. John Doherty? Yes.
She recused.
Article 62. I'm sorry, 61. Kevin, can you take 61, please?
Yes, sir. 61, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire by gift a parcel of land being shown as parcel 1 on Assessor's Map R1, which premises are a portion of the land described in the deed recorded at the Middlesex North District Deed Registry of Deeds in Book 15876, page 245, or do anything in relation thereto.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, John Dugas.
Is there a second?
Second, Michelle Kincaid.
Thank you. Discussion.
So this is going on, Teresa Manganelli. This is attached to Article 60.
That is correct.
Okay.
And all it does is allow the town to accept a gift if it were so made.
Mm-hmm.
Any further discussion? Seeing none?
Bernie, yeah. Just, it's kind of conditional upon what they do with the property on Article 60.
Yeah, he's not going to give it away if...
And he won't
Doesn't
even
get the
offer
cut.
Yeah. But
The question that came up on Tuesday was, what happens if 61 comes before 60, right? And so
the explanation is the one that I gave, which is all you're voting for here is to allow the town to accept something because they don't have that inherent power to do so. Right?
It doesn't force them to give it to us.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, ready for the vote?
Yep.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
Bernie Nelly?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. And Mary Ann recused herself. Next is Article 62. Andy, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Article 62, to see if the town will vote to amend section 3.5.8 of table 1 of the principal use regulations of the town of Wilmington funeral home by deleting the word no under the zoning classification R10 and by replacing the deleted word no with the letter PB. The amended section 3.5.8 of table 1 of the principal use regulations of the town of Wilmington shall thereafter appear as follows, or take any other action related thereto.
The planning board.
Mary Ann, John, can we discuss both these articles together since they're both related? Article.
Yes. Andy, do you want to read 63 as well then?
Sure, you bet. Article 63 says to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaws of the town of Wilmington and associated zoning map of the town of Wilmington by voting to rezone from residential R10 to neighborhood mixed use NM, the parcel of land identified as parcel 15 on town of Wilmington assessor's map 66. For a more particular description of the subject premises, see the deed recorded at the Middlesex North District Registry of Deeds at book 34026, page 6, or take any other action related thereto.
Thank you. The planning board recommended disapproval on both of these, which I personally disagree with. But we'll start with discussion first, then we'll do a motion.
I think on Mary Ann Galezzo, I think on Article 63, it's going to be a tough sell because that's more of a spot zoning. It's the only parcel that's going to be zoned neighborhood mixed use in that area. However, I think Article 62, which gives a planning board authority to issue the permit for a funeral home, is better suited.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this Dr. Lepore's old place?
Yeah. It is. And back, way back when, it used to be a funeral home in that area, on that site.
Yeah.
And I really don't think you're going to have, 4 or 5 funeral homes applying for special permits in residential areas. It's a niche kind of business. And, it's not going to draw a lot of competition in the town.
No.
I don't understand. It seems like a very large lot.
It is.
Yeah.
Why does it say R10? Isn't
those things? It looks like it's at least 20 or 25,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Just know that the lots around it on Powder House Circle are, it's zoned to R10. But yeah, it looks like it's probably about 25,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just like to mention that, even though it's zoned R10, if you just look at that area, I mean, it's diagonally across from the high school. It's across the street from the library.
Yeah.
If you go up past Powder House Circle, you have, the town common and,
Yep.
Right. So I don't consider that to be solely residential property. And I think it's appropriate because I don't know. I think
especially where
the area fits it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the area definitely fits it. There's no question about it. My only concern is that the Attorney General reject the rezoning to neighborhood mixed use.
But if you don't rezone it, if you just put it into R10 planning board for approval, then
but they disapproved it. So,
but they'd have to disapprove the permit based upon concrete
Right.
So
It'd be a different disapproval.
yeah,
Yeah.
a different review.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would make the motion to approve the changing of the principal use on Article 62.
Marianne, thank you.
Seconded.
Okay, second, Michelle.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Seeing none?
Well,
Bernie?
despite the fact that we all like to do that, you really got to look at that traffic situation there. It's going to be a tough spot to put a funeral parlor with the traffic they draw right at that corner. It's going to be a tough spot.
So I agree with Bernie on that one, but I think you would, by proving 62, you'd still have to present plans. You have to still present the concrete evidence to the planning board to get it in there, where approval of 63 would allow that without that step.
I think, well, you also have the parking lot next to the 4th of July building too. But it would be the proponent's responsibility, though, to present it to the planning board with a strong argument, and it'd be up to them to then make the decision. This would give that person, the proponent, the ability to make the proposal. Any further discussion? Seeing none, ready for the vote? Marianne?
Yes.
Bernie?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
John's already yes, passes. Article 63. Is there a motion?
Can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
Teresa Manganelli. Even though we took these up and to discuss them together, can we or should we treat them as two different articles?
We have to.
Right.
And it's going to be up to the town.
But in purposes of, if we approve 62, should we not approve 63? Because we recognize 62 as being the more, preferable option. But should we look at 63 and say, well, we approve that and that goes to town meeting?
If we approve 63, then it would be up to the town moderator as to what they want to do. My gut feeling is the town moderator would take these up separately.
Right. So the town meeting will have an opportunity to look at both of these and vote on which one is preferable to them.
That is correct.
So I'm just trying to determine whether or not I should look at 63 and say, well, in spite of the fact that I supported 62, this is another option, maybe less attractive, but it's another option, and to treat that separately. And
that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
John Dugas, I think these need to be treated definitely separately, because again, like in this case, there are more funeral homes they could potentially consider would benefit from the passage of 62, where 63 is definitely more targeted to a situation to that Nichols funeral home moving across the street.
Right.
And just for clarification, I just kind of took the two articles together for overall discussion, not as an approval for both.
Yeah.
No, understood. Yeah.
The same petitioner, 62 just gives the planning board power. 63 is no different than somebody asking to rezone R60 to R20.
Right, but 63 has more exposure to the state determining that it would be spot zoning.
Oh yeah, I'm against 63.
That's the problem there. So that's why I said it's probably viewed as less attractive in that sense.
but it would be up to the proponent
Right.
to take that risk. So.
Yeah.
I'll entertain, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Lee Martinson, motion to disapprove Article 63.
Is there a
John
second?
Dugas, second.
Any other discussion? Ready for the vote? Bernie Nally?
I vote to approve.
Teresa Manganelli?
I vote to approve as well, so I vote no on the motion.
Okay. John Dugas?
Yes on the motion to disapprove.
Andy Levine?
Oh, yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
I vote no. So yes passes, so it's disapproved. Next is article number 64. Lee, would you like to take that one, please?
So I get the pets, huh? All right. To see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw of the town of Wilmington as follows. By amending section 3.5.19 of table 1 principal use regulations as follows. By deleting the word no and inserting in its place PB in the column described as HI, thereby making pet care facilities allowed by planning board special permit in the highway industrial district. And by deleting PB and inserting in its place the word no in the column described as NM, thereby eliminating pet care facilities as a permitted use in the neighborhood mixed use district. And to further amend section 3.5.19 by deleting in its entirety and inserting the following in its place. 3.5.19 pet care facilities dash a facility for the care of domestic pets, paren A close paren, which provides either boarding or daycare services, or paren B close paren, which provides 3 or more of the following services: grooming services, retail sales related to pet products, veterinary care services, pet training classes, and any other use related to domestic pet care not specifically set forth in this section, which, in the opinion of the planning board, constitutes domestic pet care services and complies with the intent and purpose of this bylaw in section 3.8.14. And to further amend section 3.8.14 as follows. 3.8.14 pet care facilities in a general business district, highway industrial district, or a general industrial district shall be allowed only by special permit form, but I believe that should be from the planning board, and further only upon site approval by the town of Wilmington Planning Board. Pet care facilities shall also be subject to the following minimum special permit criteria: used to be allowed in the general business district, highway industrial district, or general industrial district only. Pet care facilities shall have a minimum of 3,000 square feet of area, inclusive of all floors, dedicated to any use allowed by this section and exclusive of any exterior area. Such use shall be subject to any and all of the rules and regulations as may from time to time be promulgated by the Board of Health, and further subject to the approval of the health director, or take any other action related thereto. That's what it says.
I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to accept this as written, with the understanding that I will make the motion at town meeting to amend it as I did during our meeting last Tuesday.
The planning board voted approval 5-0. Is there a second?
John Dugas, second.
Thank you. Discussion.
So
Teresa Manganelli?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Teresa.
Okay, thank you. So my question is, what happens to the pet care businesses that are currently in place?
I don't think there are any, and that was the point.
No, there is. There's one down on 38 attached to Triple Nickel.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I believe the petitioner stated that it would not affect any of the existing businesses, and the motion, and this article will likely be amended at town meeting to keep it in the mixed use district as it currently is. That's my understanding. So we'll expand it even further because we want more pet care facilities in town.
Well, they can't, I don't think they can expand it at town meeting.
They could amend it.
To expand it?
Well, it's just, they're not it's the existing bylaw already, or the existing zoning already includes a special permit in that district. So they would just change their motion not to remove it, or amend their article not to remove that section.
Okay, so that's not expanding it. That's,
yeah, leaving it the way it is.
Right.
So.
Any further discussion? Ready for the vote? Lee Martinson?
Approve, yes.
Andy Levine?
Approve.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
yes.
Bernie Nally?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. And Marianne Galizo recused herself. That ends the town warrant, all 64 warrant articles. I want to thank everyone. This has been a long meeting.
Yeah, there were a lot of them this year.
Yes, we did. And I will let Mr. Hull make a few comments, but this is not going to be our last meeting. We're going to have another one prior to town meeting. Mr. Hull?
So just when you thought it was safe to exit, just as an FYI, today I received from the town clerk a petition to call for a special town meeting from a proponent who is looking to, similar to the Stokes article, make some modifications to allow for him to be able to take the exam for a firefighter, except that it goes a little bit further. There's actually 3 articles. The first article seeks to revoke Chapter 31, Section 58A, and then inserts some language with regard to fire and police personnel being able to take the exam regardless of age. The second article, there's some, I'm not sure of the intent here, but the second article then seeks to adopt Chapter 31, Section 58A. So we're a little bit confused at the moment as to what, unless there was some error as to what they're seeking. And then article, and that's that second article is they would be seeking passage of if the first article failed. And then Article 3, if Articles 1 and 2 fail, is seeking to, if Article 1 or 2 is not adopted, to see if the town will vote to set aside the provisions of Chapter 31, Section 58A, and request that the state legislature authorize Walter A. Berry and have his results for the 2020 and all future Massachusetts civil service entry level firefighter exams be allowed for employment without regard to application's age at any time as firefighter in the town of Wilmington, notwithstanding the provisions of any general law, rules, or regulations to the contrary regarding the age of the applicant, Walter A. Berry, provided he meets all other requirements, he shall be eligible for certification and appointment to the Wilmington Fire Department by the appointing authority regardless of the age or do or take any action, other action or alternatives related thereto. So we're still reviewing the situation here. This will be presented to the selectmen on Monday, and ultimately they will have to open a warrant for a special town meeting, and then make a determination as to when to close the warrant. My recommendation to the board is going to be to handle this in a similar way to the one that was the special town meeting that was proposed a couple of years ago. It was 2018. You may recall there was a proposal to acquire the Sharapa farm and also make some zoning modifications as a consequence of the detox center. And in that circumstance, at the special town meeting was taken up within the town meeting. And after Article 2, which was the issuing of reports by boards and committees, in fact, I think it was Teresa Manganelli at the time that made a motion to postpone further consideration of the annual town meeting to deal with the special town meeting. And then once that was concluded, we went back to the annual. So that would be my recommendation to the board, but ultimately the finance committee will have to have a public hearing on this, and I'm putting together a schedule now to confirm the dates on all this, because there'll be posting requirements and so on. So,
and in speaking with Jeff earlier, what I'd like to do is have the public hearing, adjourn the public hearing, and have a finance committee meeting right after it for the voting on the special town meeting. You know, that way it's one night and we're not going to be doing 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be a little bit easier.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else, Jeff?
Adjourn.
Hold on one. Jeff, do we have anything else?
Not yet.
Okay.
John, just real quick, can we get a Munis update? Did you guys come up with a plan as of yet, Jeff?
It's still work in progress. We have had conversations with the school department, and we have a follow-up conversation with them to look at confirming some dates for some actions. So it's a work in progress.
Will you keep us updated on that?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other comments or questions? Or
I do, Mr. Chair. I just have a point of clarification. With the vote that was taken on Article 31, it served to, and that was the purchase of the land up to $2 million.
Yeah.
So that vote served to increase the budget, the expenditure budget, by $2 million. Is it the thought of the finance committee that the funding revenue source would be free cash?
That's what was proposed, was free cash.
Okay.
Okay. Brian, do we have to now amend the annual budget?
No, I can update it as far as what is included in the recommendations that will go into the booklet.
Okay.
That's, okay. I think, the only way to handle it. I'll just show a revised, we'll show the initial, just like actually last year we had to revise our estimates as well. But I'll match it so the sources for the revenues match the expenditures for the $2 million on each end on that.
Okay. Okay. Do we need to take another vote then to increase it by $2 million?
I don't know if we need to take another vote. I think the concern was that it was mentioned in discussions, but I'm not sure if that was brought in the motion. Right. That the source of the $2 million or up to $2 million would be contemplated as used exclusively from free cash. Okay. So I don't know if you have to clean it up on that front, but I think that's where the discrepancy is.
Okay. Jeff, your opinion?
I don't recall it when the discussion took place if reference was made to free cash. If not, I would recommend that the recommendation be that the money come from free cash. That's really the only way to deal with this.
Okay. Chris, do you have any of the comments?
Yep. So there was not, at the time of the vote, there was not a mention of the funding coming from free cash. It was just a vote on whether or not to approve the article.
Okay. Okay.
What's that?
I was thinking maybe we should re-vote that.
Well, I can make a motion to fund Article 31 up to $2 million from free cash.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second the motion, Michelle Kincaid.
Discussion. Ready for the vote?
Yep.
Bernie Nally?
Yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Yes.
Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Passes. Thank you, Kerry. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Any other discussion or come up before the committee? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Bernie Nally?
Aye.
Yes, yes, yes.
Teresa Manganelli?
Definitely yes.
John Dugas?
Yes.
Lee Martinson?
Yes.
Andy Levine?
Yes.
Michelle Kincaid?
Yes.
Kevin Stokes?
Emphatically, yes.
Marianne Galizzo?
Yes.
John Doherty, yes. Thank you, everyone. We got a lot done tonight.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Good
the
night.
rest of your night. Take
Thank
care.
you. Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Thank you.